Welcome to the Fold Mysteries, where we seek to discover everything that lies between the folds of reality. So, Chad, anything going on for you this week? Anything that happened? Any interesting news to share? Let me get my breaking news out here. There we go.
Breaking news. I'm working. I'm working. I get to go home tomorrow afternoon. And again, excited for irons next weekend.
Yes. Yeah, it's coming up fast. I'm like nervous yet excited. Like everything's kind of up in the air for me with my whole situation with the job right now, but I think I'll be good for next weekend. So I'm really excited. I'm excited to get to see everybody, Sherry and you and Bob. That's going to be the most exciting part for me is just getting to see everybody and getting to hang out and camp and research and meet new people, hear
Yeah.
stories. The whole thing's exciting.
hmm Yeah, it's a
Um,
it's a
so
free public event in Irons. We're just gonna talk Bigfoot, Dogman type stuff. So if anybody in Michigan wants to come out for the free event, it is Saturday, October 9th, or Sunday, October 19th at in Irons.
Yep,
So,
doors open at 9 a.m.
mhm.
Yep, and then afterwards, we're gonna take a group of people out to go for a full-length investigation. So, if you're interested in experiencing what a full-length investigation is like, that'll be fun. It's not going to be a Bigfoot walk where you're just going and walking through the woods with some researchers. You're going to be actually researching, so it'll be fun.
We could possibly get lost.
Ooh, that would be even more fun. That's what I like. I love getting lost. That's always fun. Um, yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be more of kind of an open forum type situation. We are gonna have some speakers, but we're gonna have some break times where you get to talk with the researchers, tell your own stories and of whether you're in the area or outside the area, and hear their stories if you choose to. So it's gonna be fun. Um, About the only thing that's happened with me this week. Well, I guess it was kind of exciting. So pretty much every day I go out and I try to take my dogs on the trails. And sometimes I'll go by myself if I'm going to an area that's a little more rugged and my little dog can't handle it. And I had my dogs out with me, and we were going to start with, we were going through this field, and the whole field was full of flowers, and I heard this noise. It was this low hum, and I was like, "That sounds like a beehive." And then I realized it was all around me, and then I started looking around. Every single little tiny flower had a bee on it. So I had to, like, tuck my dogs really close so they didn't disturb the bees, and I just kept walking till we got out of the whole huge field of flowers. And I was like, "I just don't wanna piss off even one of these bees and make it angry and have a swarm chasing me and my dog." So we went pretty slow. But then on that same trip, we went back in this more wooded area, and some got thrown at me and the dogs. I kept having this eerie feeling like something was around, and I would kept watching around, and I kept hearing this very slight movement, like a stick break, or like the leaves rustle, and I'm like, dude, something's in that brush. So it was this wooded area, and then next thing you know, something got thrown at me and my dogs, and it went right next to the tree beside us. Like it whizzed by the tree right next to us. So I was like, okay, I'm getting my dogs out of here. I don't really want my dogs in here if there is a Bigfoot in here. But years ago, a few years ago, that's actually where we played the Randonautica game, and we, hope to find a Bigfoot. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but yeah, and that's the exact area it took us to. So kind of interesting. But I plan
Mhm.
on going back out there without my dogs this time.
So what you're
Um,
telling me is you can't just take one dog like me. If I take one, I have to take both.
oh, they get so depressed if I only take
Yep.
one. They know that one or the other is going to the vet if I only take one of them. That's what it really is.
I
But
heard
on
we
to
have a
our
great
guest.
guest.
Yes, on to our guest for the night. We
Okay.
have a very cool guest. This is Abe Del Rio. So welcome, Abe, to the Fold Mysteries.
Hey, thanks for having me, you guys.
Hey,
Appreciate you
thank-
having me
Good to,
on.
thanks for joining
yeah,
us.
it's good to have you.
Absolutely.
So Abe Del Rio, aka Elusive One, is
Ooh.
the founder and director of the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team. He is celebrating 25 years of research in the field of investigations. Abe has never seen a Bigfoot, but has had multiple Class B encounters, from being chased, hearing vocalizations, bipedal walking, and rock throwing. Abe is well known in the Bigfoot community, and the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team is Minnesota's longest running research team and the go to team for the state for reports and investigations. The team also works with two counties. Abe has been on Animal Planet's hit TV show Finding Bigfoot twice, had been involved in multiple podcasts. Abe has even hosted Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team's radio for a number of years, helping pave the way for podcasts today. Abe has been mentioned in Bigfoot books as well. Currently, Abe has started the Minnesota Bigfoot Conference back in 2020 and has just finished the sixth annual on the 5th of this month. Abe is the researcher that others go to bounce off ideas and methods when it comes to field research. So, welcome, Abe.
Wow, I'm
Very grateful
flattered.
for you.
Well, again, thank you guys so much for having me. Yeah, 25 years of doing this, and I haven't seen one yet. Holy smokes, am I doing something wrong? Or are they always just one step ahead of us like they are all the freaking time, right? So, yeah, with
Yeah,
that being said, I mean, I know people who've claimed to have something happen to them every single time they're out in the area, out in their woods. I think a lot of that has to do with having Bigfoot on the brain, to be honest with you. I don't think
very
research
well. Yeah,
really,
very well
really
could be.
works like that, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're a field researcher and you spend a lot of time out in the field, 99.9% of the time, you're walking and you're listening and nothing happens. But, everybody is so hopeful is that where they have that little thing, oh, was that a wood knock or was that a whoop or was that some kind of a vocalization? They want something so bad to happen. It's like they manifest it up in here and it's not really taking place.
Yeah. Like nuts falling from the tree, and it's like, oh, I just got a rock thrown at me. Well, no, the squirrels are messing with the nuts up top.
That just happened with me and one of my team members a couple weekends ago when we were out in one of our locations. Actually, it was the weekend before the Minnesota Bigfoot Conference. We were in this area. It was dark time. It was just him and and I do wood knock, and then something falls. He thought I threw something at him. I was like, no, I thought that was you. And then we're looking around. And I look up. I was like, oh, it's an oak tree. It's a freaking acorn that just fell. So
Yeah.
yeah, that happens. Not everything is Bigfoot related. Yeah. I hate to bust some people's bubble, but you got to be very self-disciplined in this field of research. Like the
We're all
research,
guilty of it.
yeah,
We're all guilty of it.
you got to be so self-disciplined in this field of research. If you're going around there saying, "Yeah, I had this happen, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened," all on the same trip, I'm gonna look at you like, okay, because it just I don't. Either you got one heck of an area. I mean, like seriously, there's high activity going on, and if you're going to make these claims, you better be a good down to earth, self disciplined researcher and have your audio or your video equipment going. So I want to hear what you got there. Don't just tell me, show me.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I think we're all guilty of it because there's been times where I've gotten you're out in the woods and it's dark and you got your research, your team around you and you know somebody says that they hear or see something and then you're like, "Oh wait," and this happened with Chad and I. So Chad thought he saw eye shine. And then I struggled to see it, struggled to see it, and finally I saw it and I was like, "Chad, I see it." And I just got so excited. And then Chad was like, "Oh wait, was it buildings off in the distance, I think?"
Yep.
And I was like, darn it. So you gotta like take a moment and step back and kind of really think hard about what
Mhm.
you're seeing. because you get excited. You're waiting all that time to experience something, and then when you
Right.
finally do, you can't let your excitement take over that moment. You have to still think with your analytical brain.
No doubt, and that's, I think, one of the biggest problems that we're running into in the field research today is that people are not taking that time to slow down. You got to put the brakes on the horse and like, whoa, Nelly, was that really what we think it was? You got to go over and replay everything in your brain, and look at what just happened and the circumstances. The circumstances,
Yeah,
are huge. Was that rock? Which direction was the rock going? Was it going straight down? Was it like an acorn?
right,
Or was it going horizontal, like it was pitched or something? Because if it's something
right.
that's like an acorn or a piece of fruit, yeah, that's going to go straight down. Whereas a rock being thrown is not going to go straight down unless it was tossed and lobbed up and right at your feet. And then you got to take a look at your feet and see if that rock rolled. And if you're lucky enough, and if you're in a substrate, dirt ground, you can see where the rock is going to hit and maybe roll or slide or something like that too. So you
Yeah,
got to take everything into consideration before say, oh, well, maybe that was thrown, or maybe it wasn't.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah, and the trajectory, like you said, is important, especially this time of year. Like when I was out today and that thing whizzed by my head, you know, right this time of year, you got like the crab apples falling, you got acorns falling, you got leaves falling. Everything's dried out right now, so you got sticks falling. But this thing whizzed by my head. You could feel
mm,
almost the trajectory, like it,
mm.
it was on the other side of a tree, but you could still hear the trajectory. So, I perked up with that. But like you said, the way it's falling matters.
Oh, absolutely, it does. And there's just so much that really, as a field researcher, you got to take into consideration.
Yeah.
Is it bouncing towards you? Is it bouncing away? Which would also
Right.
indicate if it was thrown behind you, if it's rolling away from you, or rolling towards you from side to side. That also can give a location to where a possible creature could be.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
And
So I want to hear
structures
more about you. Huh? What do you say, Ty?
structures are another thing too. Not every stick leaning against a tree is a structure.
Amen to that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, you're preaching to the choir right there.
Actually, speaking of structures, let me see if I can find the right video here. I'd like to really quickly show one of your videos, Abe.
Please, by all
You have
means.
some good tree structures, so I'm going to show this video. So we'll be muted for a minute.
Okay, guys, so we're back at the TP formation that we were at last night, where Littlefoot was knocking at that tree. Jeremy was maybe 10 yards that way. I said, hey, did you guys hear that? Do a couple knocks, 3 knocks on that tree. One knock and something crashing through the trees or the woods in that direction. This is the same TP that Jeremy was under just last night. Chainsaw? I don't know. This right here was not here last night. So I'm going to check this for possible hair follicles and see if there's anything on there that could possibly be collected or snagged on these trees. Give them a closer look. Well, we got a little bit of time before we got to head back to the reamer. We'll be back.
So that's a good video. That's a good tree structure. So
So that's like a classic TP formation. And we were there the night before. And the night before, as you get heard in the video, my team member was maybe about 10 or 15 yards away, and I was just recording and documenting. He goes, "Did you hear that?" I was like, "What?" I says, "No, I was recording." And he goes, "Wood knocks, do some wood knocks." So I instructed my son to go do some wood knocks, which he did 3. And about 10 to 15 seconds later, maybe it was a limb or a small tree being broke. I went in the area where it came from, that sound, I guess. And they were scanning around with the thermal imagers, and I couldn't see anything that was, freshly broken. But I mean, we're talking about being in a national forest where a lot of things are broken. But to pick out that one fresh one would have been like a needle in a haystack, to be honest with you. So I couldn't find that one. We leave that area. We come back under 24 hours. My team member's 6'5", and he was standing in the crotch of the TP formation, basically. And when we got back the next evening, something stuck that tree horizontal, woven into the entryway of the TP formation. And what the kicker is, hold on real quick. So the whole kicker is that's not even the formation that we were hoping to go and find. This right here is the original formation that we wanted to go look.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that's so this formation. I had 3 team members join last year, and one of them was turned on to this location. And after we got doing a coal investigation, he brought me to this area, and he wanted to show me these formations that were shown to him. And going in there, none of the formations that he wanted to show me were around. However, I did find that formation, and I took multiple pictures of it from different angles and such, doing what a researcher should do, basically. And so I was like, okay, cool. Man, that's a beautiful formation. So I go in there, and I'm all the way up to the Minnesota Bigfoot Conference in October, and I don't really go back until July of this year, July 11th. It would have been a Friday, and that's when we did the knock thing. And then the day after, the 12th, is when the tree was put in the crotch of that TP formation. While also walking around that area, found another possible formation as well. I always say I try to use the word possible with formation because in all reality, we really can't pinpoint them on Bigfoot. But as I've been saying for many, many, many years, it takes something with thumbs to do something of that sort. And we are finding these in areas where there has been alleged Bigfoot activity. And I see alleged Bigfoot activity as far as it comes to sightings or vocalizations that may sound or may be made by these creatures as well. Again, I want to see a Bigfoot do an Ohio haul. I want to see him do this vocalization so we can actually say, hey, here it is. Yes, they are responsible for this, that, and the other thing. Right now, it all becomes in the data. A lot of it's just, going back out there with your cameras ready, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take some kind of a visual audio or a visual recorder to document that vocalization being projected by a creature, if we are ever going to be lucky enough to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard these days, honestly, with AI.
Mm,
AI is going to be the killer of research evidence, honestly.
yeah. And before AI was Photoshop, right? So this is just another headache basically to weave through, which it can be done. I mean, you can definitely tell because things don't exactly line up when it comes to AI. As far as you can't make up a Bigfoot's locomotion like Patterson Gimlin film. I don't know how many times I watched her walk. You can't make that stride, that gateway up, whereas AI fails every time. It is more of a human locomotion compared to what we know of Patty's locomotion. So we're back out there, and the formation that we originally found last year is not there. That we could find, and those other 2 formations are up, or at least one of them is up where in the area where we thought one was at. So that's a new formation right now in that area.
You actually, when you were originally talking about that TP structure that I had just shown, you had mentioned your son, you had him go knock on the tree, and about so many seconds later, I have that video, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'd like to show that because it's
Please
really
do.
cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Do it with nothing. Do it with nothing. That tree. Okay. Hey, yep, face that way. Yep, good job. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. You can hear something huge happen not long after he makes those wood knocks.
It was like a whoa moment. And then, as I mentioned, we kind of got back, regrouped, Jeremy, my son, and myself, hit the trail, and then I went and started looking around to see what what it was. Was it a tree? Was it a limb? It was definitely It was definitely a tree or a limb, but where basically where it came from. But yeah, that was really really cool. I did send that to a colleague out in the PNW, David Ellis, and he did amplify the sound. And I should have, had I not been so busy, I would have sent those amplifications to you as well. But it is what it is, and at least you got to hear what I was just talking about. So thank you for playing that. But yeah, this area, I mean,
Yeah.
we got well, a sebum collection plate basically out in the area now with a tree camera, GPS tracker, and stuff too. So that kind of right is the segue for the next clip, I guess, if you have that one up and ready.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm on another menu here. So
No, you're
so I have a few. So this is the one. Uh, tell me again about how long it is, because I think I can differentiate by the length.
good. Ooh, let's see here.
So while we're doing this, Abe,
Yeah.
what is
Yep.
it with 3 knocks? I've been out with a lot of people, and they when they do tree knocking, they knock
Mhm.
3 times.
Right.
Now, in the few times I've ever heard tree knocks, I've only ever heard one single one by what I don't know what does it.
Right. And you know, we could hum and haw about all of this too. Um, I've heard one knocks, I've heard two knocks, I've been surrounded by knocks before, I've heard 9 knocks. Who knows exactly what the knocks mean? I've always done 3 myself because I've had success in getting responses with 3 knocks. What it means to them, I have no idea. Uh, but it seems to mean something where they reply back. I've tried 1 knock. I did the 3 knocks. Okay, in one of our areas back in 2016, I ran into a town that we were camping close to get some supplies. And when I came back, 2 of my team members says, "Hey, give Bobo a call." I was like, "Why should I call Bobo?" Because we heard him from over there and over there. I was like, "Okay, all right." So did some knocks. We started walking in that direction where they heard the vocalization. And we were playing cat and mouse. I was doing 3 knocks. It would do 1 knock, and then like, okay, then we start walking forward. It would do 3 knocks. It would do 1 knock, and okay, we start walking forward again. It was getting us deeper into the woods, and we were like, okay, well, what's going on here? So we started to hopefully turn the other direction. Um, we would do some knocks, and then it wouldn't reply, and or else it'd be farther away and farther away. So we just like, okay, it's going farther away. It's getting dark out. We don't know that area, like the back of our hand. So it'd probably be more treacherous and stuff like that because it's going thicker into the woods. So what the knocks mean, it's a Morse code. We have no idea, but it's fun to do it and get when you get a response back too.
Yeah,
You
the
just gotta
responses are cool.
you got to have your audio ready and get ready just in case you get a tree knocked out back. And that's a whole nother subject. And so, I mean, how many times have you guys gone out in the woods unprepared per se and looked for something to hit against a tree that sounded, you could find a lot of different woods, branches and stuff, but when you hit that tree, a lot of times that branch, whatever it is you're using, is going to break on you. And so,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? It happens all the time. And it also raises the question like, well, are they really using wood on wood, or is this some kind of something that they can permit or with their body? Like
Mhm.
are they doing that?
Yeah.
Like
So
a tongue pop. Yeah.
right. Yeah, are they doing that? So yeah, there's so many questions in this field. And we have very little answers, but a lot of speculation.
Mhm.
Yeah, some people even suggest that because gorillas, they pound on their chest and it makes like
I've
a
heard that.
sound. Yeah. Some believe that they might just be like hitting their chest one good time.
Hmm. To get back at you with that timestamp, I think it was a video that was 211.
211. So I have one that's I don't think I have that one.
Okay. Do you got 916 or 1021?
No. Were those Facebook video or YouTube ones? Because if they were YouTube, I can't pull them.
Um, Good question. I don't know what they were. I thought I sent them. Oh, that one didn't go. It was 212. It didn't go through. Just come to find out. Well, that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Well,
that's all
you
right.
know what? Is it on your YouTube?
You should have one that says 134. That one looks like it went through.
134. Yes, let's play that one.
All right.
All right, guys, elusive one here. So we're at the TP formation, and we have an offering of apples for them, meaning that we're not here. We want to learn from them. We're peaceful. We're not here to harm them or anything like that. And also, we kind of gave them a little mirror so they can check themselves out, right there. And hopefully they'll touch the mirror where we can, pull off some fingerprints or some sebum, the waxy substance that's left behind, that's believed that's left behind when they touch them. And we also left them something to itch their arm and if they have a bad bug bite, in hopes that we can get some hair follicles from there. And also, I mean, who doesn't like a selfie, right? So we got a tree camera right here. In all reality, we do want to leave them a peace offering. Last time we were here 2 weeks ago, I think we were being watched because this is the stick or the tree that was woven in here and rested on this little springy one right here and right here. And when we were here, and Jeremy and I combed over this just to see if we could see any hair follicles, and we couldn't. So that's pretty amazing. But all right, I think this area is good to go, and we'll be back.
That is so cool.
The
I love
the
that.
likelihood of that just falling in between like that is so like 1 in 10,000. I mean, that totally looked placed.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Yep, and it definitely was placed. Something with thumbs. I mean, it has been putting them up in this area. I, I just seen some questions out of the chat. I just finally clicked comments instead of private chat. So now I can see everybody in the chat room. Hey guys, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's another one, man. So Doug Hychek, really good friend of mine, known him for probably about 17 to 20 years now, and he only lives 20 minutes away. Somebody, there was a hunter who sent him a picture of what's called a star formation. And this hunter actually just came to the Minnesota Bigfoot Conference. I met him before, excuse me, but I didn't know exactly his name. Now I know his name. At any rate, and I'm talking with him. He's showing me the exact location and how to get to this area where the star formation is found. And I was just there on the 7th. I think I sent you that as well. This one is really amazing. Did I send it to you? Oh my gosh, maybe I didn't.
That's the longer video, right?
Could have been.
And in case people don't know who Doug Hyjack is, wasn't he the producer of Monster Quest?
Yep. He's the brainchild of Monster Quest that was on the History Channel in the mid early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, and that last video that we played, that mirror idea is so cool because they seem to be very curious creatures, and to add
Yes.
something to that curiosity is just such a brilliant idea, and it might even be distracting enough to keep them from noticing a trail camera.
Right. And with that being said, that is Doug Hychek's brainchild. He ran that by me. I was like, I'm going to, what in nature reflects an image? Did you
Water.
guys know?
Just
Exactly.
water.
Absolutely. It's just water, standing water, or any kind of water. So if we were taking that out there and putting something like that as highly reflective, um, that would hopefully entice and intrigue them, where they see themselves not by a body of water, but something that's blue that could be like water on a tree. Um, wow. I mean, but then again, we're also dealing with a creature that is very highly intelligent as well, being or
Right.
creature, whatever you want to call it, primate or whatever, homo, who knows, whatever it is. And that's a whole other topic too.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that touches it and leaves, that fatty acids, the oily acids, the sebum that gets out of our pores and stuff. And hopefully and here's the thing, if they take that whole thing, because I leg bolts in that plexiglass. If they rip it off those leg bolts, that's where the GPS tracker comes into play, so we can track it down
Ah,
and the path and the route that it took as well. So
that is
there's that.
genius.
Yeah, that's on the back, and of course the hook side of the Velcro in hopes of a hair snake too. So what we got going on is a couple different things. Buy a formation, because a lot of times you hear people say, "Well, why don't you put a tree camera there?" Well, I did. So now what?
Yeah.
No, but that you in going out there and changing the SD card, raccoons got to the apples. That was the first bag. I did go out there with two more bags. Raccoons got to the apples. So those raccoons, I'm telling you, and this happened to me down on the expedition in Iowa too, where I put apples up in a tree. These dang raccoons. I mean, there has to be a raccoon that's, I don't know, tasting pretty good. I guess I would say, apple raccoon or whatever. Um, but yeah, those raccoons and doing something like this in hopes, just in hopes. I mean, who knows? Like you said, maybe it will distract them from the tree camera that's there. Hopefully, but you know, again, we're dealing with a highly, highly smart, intelligent being. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens there. But getting back to this formation that I was just at, was it 2 days ago? Holy smokes! Now, Chad, if you thought that one was kind of cool, this one's kind of cool as well.
So this is, I think I have it. I'll go ahead and play.
I think it's about a 3 minute clip. And okay, so on this way out
Okay.
to
Yeah.
for the main formation, the star formation, I'm walking. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, oh, there's one right there. Another one just pops out at me. It's like, what the heck? So whenever you're ready, going on.
All right. Let's check it out.
So, what is today is Tuesday, October 7th. And going to an area to look for a formation off to the trail, I noticed this thing. And you can see where I dug around here just to see this was stuck in the ground. Same with this one, stuck in the ground. Same with this one, just stuck in the ground. We have one that's going horizontal right here, and also with this one stuck, jammed in the ground as well. Something with thumbs. Yeah, absolutely something with thumbs. All right, everyone. Elusive One MMBRT. Today is Tuesday, October 7th. sorry, what does that say? 254. And I'm at a location where it was brought to my attention that this thing is. This is like what is said to be like a star formation. I met with a colleague yesterday, Jake, and he's came across these possible formations as well. And looking a little bit more closer, from what I can tell, is that maybe two of them were actually growing out of the four. And then it would be this one right here. Looks like it could have been growing in this spot. So when I tried picking it up, then again, we have all this weight on it as well. So it's not the easiest thing to pick up with that and that right on top of it. But I bet if I gave it, oh wait, okay, well, I could be wrong about that one. That one could have been placed there. However, this cedar has definitely been growing here. You can see the root system right there and everything. The tip of the tree is down there. And that butt is up in there at the end. This one is very teeter-tottery because I can lift it with ease, and you can see the effect that it's having. Also on the way in here is when I found the other possible formation as well. So this is really, really cool to see. I'm kind of geeking out. I know I'm not. I'm full-blown geeking out right now because this is just kind of cool. Is it coincidence or something with thumbs?
Yeah, we call those asterisks also.
Asterisks, yeah, they do look like asterisks, absolutely. But oh
That's
my gosh, yeah, I was geek. I was watching that. I'm like, oh man, that was so cool. And the thing is, I was just there yesterday again. I was like, oh wow, man. So yeah, I'm a big Bigfoot geek. I'm a big Bigfoot nerd, man. I'm proud of it.
Yeah. When the branches are stuffed in the ground like that, all of them that are they didn't all happen naturally.
No, absolutely not. And that's the thing. When you're coming upon a formation, you got to look at every single tree to document which one is growing and which one was placed there. Mm-hmm. And you can tell because the ones that are placed there, they're going to go into the ground a little bit versus the one that are growing. Sometimes they'll have that moss vegetation growing up, and you got to do that. You also got to look up just to make sure that none of them fell in that manner as well, because you got to look up and you got to look down, high and low. You got to cover every angle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fact that they were stuffed into the ground like that is what's super compelling to me, because that means, yes, that requires opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
So that brings me to a question: what are some of the ways that you could possibly differentiate between like human pollution type structures and more of like a Bigfoot type structure, or do you just kind of have to make the assumptions?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, all humans know how to make a lean-to or a wigwam and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. When we come across something like that, then yeah, we gotta say, okay, that's human. I mean, we know how to do that just from basically watching and seeing other humans do that. Or to something like this, if it was a human, why wouldn't they finish it? Why wouldn't they make it more shelterous? It'd be a real good place for you to take shelter in, and it's just too open. So I think when it comes to human or even a hunter using a natural blind, it's going to be way more better for the hunter to hide on the inside versus something that's very open, like the formations that we've been coming across.
Right.
Yeah, I've found plenty of hunter blinds out researching. People are thinking, "Oh, this is Bigfoot." I'm like, "No, man, this is a hunter's blind.
Absolutely,
made out of all the dead wood in the woods." And
yep, absolutely. And the thing is that they'll utilize the same resources that a Bigfoot, and even in some instances, they'll carry like a little saw with them and saw some of the edges off too. And then, hello, right there, red flag. You got human activity is made by a human. Also, another thing is that in the hunter's blind, sometimes you might see leftover wrappers or something that will, give that has some kind of human element to it too. Um, so yeah, I mean that's how one would differentiate a possible Bigfoot structure versus man-made.
I like
Right.
you say possible. I
Yeah.
like because I tell people if I didn't see him make it, if I didn't see the Bigfoot make it, I can't say for sure.
And nobody can. Again, that's why I say possible because we until we get that footage. And I heard that when I was doing MNBRT radio, I forget who, maybe I was listening to somebody else, but I think it was out of the East Coast where they said there was some kind of document to somebody seen a Bigfoot doing something with a formation. Okay, cool. We need more accounts. We need to get more cameras out there. We need to be more boots on the ground with 4K. I mean, yeah, I remember back in the day when 1080p was the whole thing, and the HD. Now it's 4K and 8K, guys. So things are just getting better and more expensive when it comes down to all the toys and the equipment and stuff like that. I tell you what, though, I mean, what I really have my eye on is an eDNA scanner. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where I can collect that eDNA and also some of the substrate and give it to Dr. Mayer, for example. Or before he passed, Dr. Meldrum. We were, we worked a long time with Meldrum for many years, and he'd be the go-to guy for stuff. That was holy smokes! He passed 1 month today. It's been a month since he passed. Wow.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
He was
loss
a huge loss to the community, that's for sure.
Yeah, my gosh. And to replace somebody of that stature that he brought to the community, I think the biggest injustice for what he stood for, not to go in vain, is for us field researchers to do things on a scientific level, to collect possible evidence in a scientific manner, and not just going around and saying, oh, well, they can do this, well, they can do that. No, we need to get the data. Science is going to stand on the data that's collected. And if we don't go around getting that data and just shooting out their speculation and hypothesis without getting the data, I don't want to see that happen to him because he stood so much for scientific evidence that we would all be doing Dr. Meldrum an injustice if we started saying that they can do this, that, and the other thing without having the proof or the data.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, especially when you say it and with such fervor, as factual, because you don't have the evidence to back it up to make it
Right.
fact. But speculation and theory are fun for me, but at the same time, it is the science that excites me. So
Yeah, absolutely. Because we know that it's going to take, it's not science, that's what science is going to look at. They're not going to look at, oh, well, they can turn invisible. Oh, well, there's orbs. There's some kind of association. Or they can, go through a portal. I mean, let's take a step back. Let's look at all the other known hominids or primates that we know of. Can any of them do that?
Well, a lot of the cloaking is natural camouflage, I believe, because they blend so well and they're in their environment. And one step back, and you just can't see them.
And that's the thing. I mean, how many of you guys are in your car and you have a deer across the road? I mean, it happens to a lot of people. But when that deer goes into a certain depth of the woods, they're gone, right? Depending on how thick the woods is. And I don't think, and again, that deer has that natural camouflage as well. It didn't turn invisible. It just went where you couldn't see it.
Right.
Well, the hollow hair theory, because Bigfoot hair is purportedly
No
hollow,
medulla.
no medulla,
Yeah.
which would allow it to absorb and reflect the surrounding colors around it because it has nothing to stop it. It's more like a clear hair.
Yep. And that's understandable. We need to get the science that says what you just said.
Good luck with that. We're working on it, though.
And I'm not shaking my finger at you. I'm just saying, but what you just said, we need to have that data that says that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, into the data aspect, supposedly there's been a lot of data that's been put forth that has just disappeared. Do you think that's accurate, or do you think that there's some sort of intentional or accidental, intentional cover up or accidental misplacing of evidence, or what? What is your thoughts on that?
You know, there's all kinds of different, conspiracy theories out
I
there.
like conspiracy theories.
But the thing is, I mean, there's a conspiracy theory where a group of scientists were on a plane and the plane crashed, and they're on the way to some kind of a cancer, um, where they have the cure for cancer or something like that. And these scientists' plane went down. Some decided not to go on a plane and take a different flight. So there's that. I know the government has intel about these beings, creatures, what have you. They've been seen on military installation bases. Why they're not coming forward with this is probably even a more greater question to ask than why not? What is the hide with these things, if anything? And they came out saying, yeah, UFOs are real. Why can't they
Finally.
Why can't they go out and say Bigfoot's real? What is it going to take for our government to open up that chapter?
Well,
is it going to? Yeah.
In my opinion, it affects a lot of things. Okay, it
Yeah,
affects
forestry.
it affects development. It affects mining. It affects forestry because if they were known to be real, they would be considered a hominid. Being a hominid, you would have human rights. But in my opinion, the biggest thing it would affect is the largest business in the world, and that's the gas.
Yep, it is. Yeah, absolutely. It's
That's just my opinion.
The timber industry, and you're right. I mean, look what happened when the ground owl was, or
endangered bird. They'll put away hundreds of thousands of acres and protect it for an endangered bird.
Absolutely. Yeah, and well said. And it's not just everything these, but then there's also, okay, if it's a hominid, then religion and stuff like that is going to be tossed in there, and then it's really going to shake things up too. So there's just I can see why, but we're already at a point. I mean, if we're so far advanced where we're at already, I don't think all of that is really going to change anything. If it's a hominid, and you're right, it's going to have hominid rights, and it is a hominid. It's not. I don't. Okay, scientifically speaking, we are Homo, right? Homo sapien, and then also we're also classified as a grade ape. So, but when we say hominid, we're talking about something that has more of a human-shaped foot compared to the known great apes that are out there, and the proof is right there in the pudding. I mean, you hit the nail on the head right there. It is a hominid. It's some kind of a Homo genus versus some type of other known great ape. And you look, because the great apes all have a divergent big toe, versus what we're finding, all their toes are aligned. Everything from the Patterson Gimlin to the Hereford casts, pretty much all the casts that you come across, all their toes are pretty much uniform, right? Like ours are. So yes, I agree with you there. It's definitely
the only difference is the mid-tarsal break. That is the only difference, really.
Yep, no doubt. Yep, and why is that though? I mean, when we're
so they
looking
can
at
climb terrain.
yep, exactly. Versus where we have known species of great apes, their divergent toes for being more arboreal, right? More up in the trees and everything like that. So This thing is a climber. It's fast. I mean, they've been clocked at what, 40 miles per hour. So these things can really cruise. And that mid-tarsal brake also gives them all that catapulting spring action too.
And allows them to walk quieter in the woods.
Like ninjas. There's so much to that. Yeah. I mean, a lot. If you paid attention to what Dr. Bowden says, yeah, there's so many benefits to having that mid-tarsal brake. It's almost like having a built-in moccasin, to be honest with you.
That's interesting. So, Bob says the government, he believes the government uses Plum Island for their cryptid experiments. So do you think that the government could potentially be conducting experiments on cryptids, or could cryptids be a result of experiments? Or do you not want to touch on that topic? It's just you brought it up. It's kind of a unique.
I mean, that's a great question. I've never heard of Plum Island personally, so there have been some colleagues in Minnesota that think that the government, that there's a chapter or a secret sector that have gone around to try to eradicate or capture different cryptids.
The phantoms something.
You know, so I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, there's Black Hawks that kind of appear. The Men in Black are around from time to time. And like I said, I think the government already does have the intel as far as they're doing anything with these cryptids. I guess it wouldn't. It's possible. I guess it's even feasible.
If they had one, they would.
You know,
they would.
If they had them, they would. Why would? What's stopping them to learn more about them? The government, and then that's just what we do. We destroy, right? I mean, that's just what Homo sapiens do. We rape the land and we destroy the animals, man.
What if, like Mount St. Helens? I mean, do you believe these stories? There's so many people that were involved in it.
Yeah,
and
I do. I think, I do. There's just so many people that were involved in it, right? And a lot of them came forward and said, yeah, it's real. They're real. They're out there. We found the bodies. And also in some firefighters, you know, when they come across the forest fires and they find these bodies too, and I've heard of an incident where they came across a burnt Bigfoot and they started treating it and stuff too. So I want to see the video. Don't give me the stories. I want to see the video, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got enough stories. Oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Yeah, probably. You know, I've heard a lot of things doing MNBRT radio for a long, long time. Yeah, I interviewed one of the John Green. He was great. Bob Gimlin. He was awesome. You know, there's just so many people that it has inspired me where I want to become that self-disciplined field researcher, you know, documenting and staying level-headed and not jump into conclusions that everything's done by a Bigfoot. You go through the process of elimination. I mean, for the past 25 years, I'm saying you gotta be self-disciplined. You gotta go through the process of elimination. Ask yourself what animals could have done this before you can say, hey, maybe it was a Bigfoot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bigfoot last. Take the simplest explanation first, and if that doesn't work out, move up to Bigfoot.
Right. Possible Bigfoot. Yeah. That leads me into my next question. I am just curious. So I know you haven't had a sighting per se, but you've had quite a few Class B experiences. So do you want to share with us one of your most intense Class B experiences?
Holy smokes. Okay, so my most intense one was back when I was back in 2001. MNBRT was just started and we've been a year and we want to get out to an area and do some research. And at that time, Ohio. All my Ohio peeps, yeah. Um, Ohio is popping, man. And
Yes.
so, yeah, and so we go out there, and me and two ex-team members, we go out there, and we go to the Sasquatch Triangle, Guernsey, Muskingum, and Coshocton County. We go to Coshocton County and the Wills Creek area, and then Wills Creek, there's a general store. We arrive and we tell them who we are and what we're doing, and they're like, "Did you hear about Sasquatch Valley?" And we're like, "No." So they get a little map out. They tell us how to get there. This is broad daylight in the afternoon. The day before, oh my gosh, it was raining cats and dogs, torrential downpour. um, um, and so we get to Wills Creek and we park facing the creek. And me and another team member walk down. The third guy, my blood brother, having a bad day, wasn't feeling it, stays in the car. So we walk about 50 to 75 yards away from the car, and we're about to hit the heavy woods. Then we hear kind of like what you heard when my son did that wood knock, and we heard a snap or something, limb being broke, tree being broke, whatever. And then we start hearing it, heavy bipedal footprints stepping on twigs and leaves and stuff like that. And we're like, oh. I remember looking down at him and him looking up at me, and his face was like white as a ghost. He was spooked. I was spooked. So we're like, okay, this is enough. So we started running back toward the car. And I have a Polaroid camera around my neck, and it's swinging back and forth. And as I'm running, I'm like, okay, hey, look, hey, this could be the shot of a lifetime with a Polaroid camera, right? Where you got to go like this to help it develop faster. You know how grainy they are, but hey, who knows? So I stop and I'm focusing on the area. I'm waiting for this thing to come running out. As soon as I stop and I turn around, my blood brother up at the car, him having a higher point of view. Hey, what are you doing? Right behind you, get going. And I'm looking at him, and his eyes are as white as saucers. I'm hearing the sticks and everything getting crunched on louder, which is indicating that it's getting closer. So I'm like, okay. I swear I was like Speedy Gonzalez. Pretty much caught one up with the other guy who didn't stop. We get to the vehicle, and we get in the car. Don't know how. Either it was through the window or opened the door. I don't really know. But I'm in there, and by the time we get to the vehicle, my blood brother has the vehicle started. And I'm like, what was it? What does it look like? Where was it going? You know, give them the 20 questions. Our heart is going, just adrenaline flowing. He got out. It was going from tree to tree. He was getting right up on the guys, 7.5 feet tall, reddish brown. In doing this for some years after, good friend, brother in research, Mark DeWorth, he was with the OBO, Ohio Bigfoot Organization. Now he runs the OBO or OBC, Ohio Bigfoot Conference. I've talked with him about this area. He used to research this area as well. And with what the locals that live around the area told him, there's at least two of them. There's a big black male and then a smaller female that's about 7.5 feet tall and reddish brown. So, was it female? Was I getting too close? I mean, I could speculate all I want, but it was something of that size. And I asked my team member, you know, breast, were there any breast? He really wasn't paying attention. But was I getting too close to a young one? I don't know. Nowadays, I stopped running from the females. And then here, in Minnesota, since then, I've had them come up walking. I've heard that bipedal footprint walking, at least on 2 different occasions in 2 different research areas. And one was after my same blood brother. We heard what sounded like distant wood knocking. So before, and we were just not feeling it. We heard distant stuff, but nothing really close from what we thought. So before we got back to the vehicle, he did 2 wood knocks. After he did 2 wood knocks, We're standing on this dirt road. We start hearing the heavy bipedal footfalls coming towards us on the dirt road. My ex-team member and his wife, she had a 3 million candle power spotlight that turned it on, and it stopped. Whatever it was stopped dead in its place. We couldn't see anything. If I would have had my thermal imager that I have today, then back in 2009, we probably would have picked up a heat source. But we were all like this far apart, and when that happened, we kind of got closer because we were scared. It was like, oh my gosh, okay, so this is happening, and nobody wanted to go in there and go look. So we didn't say anything. We just stood there, like, you know how your body starts breathing again. You're like, you don't even know you're holding your breath or your whatever. So we had that go on, and then we got in the vehicle. We were just like, I says, I think that was a Bigfoot, and they're like, yep. So we had that happen. 2018, we were on a reservation, one of my team members' reservations, and this was late July 20 something. We were out researching for about 8 hours, and it was probably in the early morning hour, about 1 or 2 o'clock, and we're at our last location. One of my ex-team members does the Ohio howl. And then from our right, we start hearing coyotes go off. And then we hear, oh! And then we're like, oh my gosh, we're looking over there, camera's going. I have a parabolic going on, I have a splitter and everything going on. You go into the camera to amplify the sound and everything. And then over to our left, oh! We got another one sounding off. And we're like, oh my gosh, oh, I got goosebumps all over. One of my team members got so scared, he ran back toward the car. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm recording, we're finally getting it. And we're just like, oh, this is awesome. In between 2 Ohio homes. Well, the auxiliary cord from the parabolic to the splitter that went into the camera was missing it messed up where it didn't record it. And
Oh my gosh.
Been there, Abe. I've been there.
Yeah.
So, man, yeah, that was a great one. That was a great one too. Then we had a rock throwing incident in one of our other research areas in 2009. 2009 was pretty cool. We were along this river, and it was getting a little bit darker than dusk. And I could almost see like a shadow. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. So we start throwing rocks across the river. In this location, there was this tree that we would do to wood knock on. Whack. And my baby brother throws a rock, goes flying over, and then we have a rock finally come flying back, and it landed at the tree that we were wood knocking on. We're like, oh wow! So my ex-team member, same team member whose wife turned on the spotlight, has that rock till today. Of course, it wasn't collected with gloves or anything at that time, but so that was another cool incident. And then we were, when we were filming for Animal Planet, we broke up. It was me and my team member Pops, Mike Hexum. We were doing Animal Planet. We took him out to one of the research areas that Pops had been scouting. And it was Pops, Matt, and Cliff, me, Bobo, and Renee. And we split off. And lo and behold, Pops, Matt, and Cliff, they got a wood knock coming out of the cedar swamps. So that was kind of cool to have that experience with those guys as well. And then when we were filming for All Gas and No Brakes back in July 2021, July 11th, 2021, I was showing the host, Andrew Callahan, and his audio guy and his video guy brought him off the trail over to a tree. All this time, on this way out there, we're doing vocalizations, we're doing knocks, we're doing silly things in hopes of trying to get their interest, to get some type of response. So we're doing this, and I bring them over to a tree, and as I'm explaining, how to knock and where to find the tree, tap the tree, this, that, and the other thing, Pops and another guy that was on the trail have something come out from the woods, shuffle side to side, and then go back in the woods. Like, hey, they're trying to get my attention. Hey, what? It was right there, right there. So watching and we're waiting to go in, and we're like, what the heck? We go check out the area, and with the therm, nothing. It was already deep enough to do it. So
Wow.
it's just the story of my life, you guys, for the past 25 years. I mean, I have literally been on the heels of this creature. I've been watched by this creature. I've had rocks thrown. I've walked where they walked. I've walked where Patty walked back in '67. I was out there for the 50th anniversary and was able to walk where she walked. That was cool. I've seen what they've seen. I found deer kills where there's broken vertebrae and hind legs, gut piles opened up with ear, and just hearts and livers are missing.
Yep. And they leave the rest of it for the coyotes.
Yeah.
And then when that all dries out, they eat the bone marrow when the bones get dry. I found killing fields.
And you can tell because it's like on their back legs, their spiral breaks, like they're being twisted, and sometimes there'll be fracture and clean break too. But yeah, so I love this. I'm geeking out right now, recounting this too.
Yeah, and it seems like it's always when you're having one of the best or most intense experiences that you have some sort of electronic failure or camera failure or batteries
Dead
die.
batteries, brand new batteries just go dead.
Happens. They're so elusive, just like your name, elusive one. It's kind of ironic that you have the name of what these creatures basically are.
I know. But yeah, I mean, so there's that. I've been paralleled. I've been in between two of them, up in the woods. They followed me. I've heard the howls, the whoops, the chirps,
whistles.
Absolutely the whistles. Yeah,
you guys. Chatter.
I haven't heard the samurai chatter yet. My team member Pops, he's heard them go. So he's heard that.
Have you heard the tongue popping? Because I've heard the tongue popping.
I have not heard the tongue popping.
They'll do it. There'll be two of them, and they'll pop back and forth.
So the tongue
to distract you there.
Yeah, Glenn Atkins. He's the one that makes the Squatch sticks. I gotta give Glenn props. Yeah, he actually just sent me this one for our 25th anniversary. He says MNBRC celebrating 25 years of pure Squatchery. You guys go to Ohio SasquatchProject.com. Because that's where a lot of this started for me, was getting chased in Ohio. I've been promoting the squat because they work. I mean, they sound really good in acoustical, and the sound travels, and depending on the density of the forest too.
And the tree you pick, really.
Yeah, it's really important.
Thickness of the bark too. Yep, all of that, everything comes into play. Comes absolutely into play. But yeah, you guys, this is if I. It's, again, not every time I'm out in the woods anything happens, but July seems to be a pretty active month.
In Minnesota?
In Minnesota, with the mosquitoes, you got mosquitoes that will come carry you away.
Okay.
I watched one video where you were talking about them getting ate up by mosquitoes on your YouTube. They got to check out your YouTube page. I mean, not only is it interesting, but there's a lot of comical parts to it too. So I enjoy that.
Well, and that's one thing. We take our research serious. but we like to have fun and clown around, and I like to be a little entertaining, and because otherwise it's just like research. Who wants to research? Research is boring. So I like to have fun when I'm researching, and have people have fun while they're watching us out there. Because a lot of the times, as I said, you're just walking around and nothing happens. But if you can be kind of funny, a little humorous, that kind of keeps them coming back. Oh, he's funny, he's good, but look what they find, look what they do. So yeah, um, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
really I really enjoy the research that you do. Like just seeing your methods, your techniques, and your patience. Takes a lot of patience to do this as well. I really like that. Yeah,
thank
you
you.
do good work.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Now, Abe, you were talking about coyotes earlier.
Yes.
I like you have been doing this. I started armchair about 25 years ago, but I'm like 18 years field. I have heard like you'll hear like a howl that don't sound like a coyote, and then all the coyotes go nuts, or you'll hear all the coyotes going off, and then after that you'll hear the howl. But now,
Mm,
what's your opinion on owls? Have you ever encountered abnormal like owl sounds where like it's owls all over the place and they
different.
just don't sound right?
Well, I mean, different owls have different whoos or ooh. So it's not that we can't pin down one vocalization to one owl. There's multiple owls and we don't really know every vocalization that an owl can make,
Mm-hmm.
right? So who's to say that it's not an owl? But I've heard of exactly what you're talking about. Some say, "Oh, there's a weird quiver, or some whatever at the end, or something like that." It didn't sound like, well, just because it didn't sound like what you used to hearing doesn't mean it's not what it is. That's why I always tell
Yeah.
people. So, I mean, I talked with Arla Williams many a time. Oh, I should say many times, but she's also said that too. That they can mimic. I know they
Mm-hmm.
can mimic. They can talk. They understand English. Okay. Expedition in Iowa. Habituation. Habituation place. Straight up swore. And the woman I've been going down there for many many years. She's a great friend of mine. She's like family now. To be honest with you, her kids, her grandkids are like family. And we're standing on her back deck at the property that they used to live on. And she goes, "Oh," she gets chills. And she goes, "Like, they're over there." It's like, "Why?" Because I got chill on this side. If it was on the other side, she would have said they were over there. So, okay. So I'm over here and I'm right by everybody. I'm like, "If you're out there, can you please give us a sign? Can you give us two wood knocks? Let us know that you're there." Sure enough, two wood knocks come out of the woods. My hairs are standing up. And we're just like, what? So yeah, so sometimes now when I'm out in the woods, so I'll just talk. Hey, I mean, harm, friends. I want to learn from you. I was just doing this yesterday at the Asterisk or Star Formation. I want to learn from you. Can you guys teach me? I mean, harm, goodwill, all that stuff. Because if they're around, I want them to know. Sometimes I think like, oh, they know who I am. There's Abe. He's right on our heels. Everybody hide.
Yep. Yep. I believe like there's a lot of animals like dogs, they can feel intention. Cats can feel your intention. They can feel your emotions. They know when you're happy or sad. So
Mhm.
who's to say a Bigfoot can't feel intention? I mean, like if you're out there to hurt them,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
sometimes humans, sometimes you get that bad vibe from somebody that's up to no good. I mean, that's real.
Yes.
I feel like
Absolutely.
Abe's laughing at Jeffrey's question. Is that
I
what you're
love
getting at?
Jeffrey. Jeffrey is my brother from another mother, man. I miss him so much. I'm just glad, I love you, brother.
You
Love
don't
you.
have to answer that question, Abe.
Now to do it with a Minnesota accent. Let's see, how would that happen? Uh, Hey, because sometimes we'll sound like Canadians, we'll go like, hey, or don't you know?
It's
That's
hilarious.
funny. That
I
is
love
funny.
that.
Those are for the more Minnesota people who are more Minnesota.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Abe.
We lost
Something,
you.
Oh,
something happened. Oh, there.
Oh, there
Now,
we go.
now you're good.
there we go. I probably did it too. My mic was like, oh, shut up.
Yeah, every now and then your mic will peak
Okay.
and we'll lose you for a minute.
Yep, I see that.
Um,
I'm watching the bars.
But we're over the hour mark, and I just wanted to thank you for coming on. You have some really awesome experiences, some really awesome research techniques, and it was really cool to kind of get to see your methods on how you go about things and stuff. So, if Chad, did you have any more questions? Because
No,
I don't
he's
know
been
if
a great guest.
Abe's here ready to go to bed.
I've been totally, I've been totally enthralled into this interview. I would ask if Abe, if you can stay a couple minutes after we go off, just stay backstage when we sign out, so we can talk
Yeah,
a couple minutes.
sure. We can definitely do that. Well, and you guys, thanks for having me on. It's been an hour already. Holy
Hour
Lord.
and
17
17.
minutes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That went by
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. But if
fast.
anybody's interested in finding out more about Abe here, Elusive One, check out Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team on Facebook and YouTube. So it was nice having you.
Yeah, we're also on Instagram and TikTok.
Ah,
Yeah. So again, thank you, Gwen and Chad and everybody else. Have a good evening. God bless and watch on.
I
You
love
know it, brother.
it.